there's a lot to rip Eberflus for, but I think people just saw, he had a timeout and he didn't use it, and that's just ridiculous. And that became the story, and that was the piece of momentum that went overboard, right? What did you see? What did you find out today? All the players after the game, we had the timeout. Why didn't we use it? And I'm sitting there going, how do I know more about football than so many people just want to see the timeout and go, how did I use the timeout? It's 3rd and 26. Okay, there's 33 seconds left in the game. It's 3rd and 26. You're not getting the first down, and you can't spike it on 4th down. So you need the timeout to get the kicking unit onto the field. And I know Bill Cowher right after the game said, you run your kicking unit on the field. Oh, you can really? I mean, you can really? First of all, it's the Bears kicking unit. You want them they're the Keystone Cops of the NFL. I don't think they could find their helmets in time to run on the field. So I disagree with you should have just called timeout. Okay. You're going to have to, you really want to do that. You want that kind of chaos and run them onto the field. That's stupid. That's not the real point. The real point is that with 33 seconds left, there was no anticipation that, if something happens, we have to run a play quickly so we can try to get more yards to the field goal. And it took them 33 seconds to run that play. It was Kmet and DJ Moore lollygagging their way back when they got to get back fast. And the Bears overall and Eberflus didn't really have a plan for, if we get sacked, what do we do? All right, that's the big, and that's the latest on all the things that Eberflus did at the end of games, the meltdowns that he's had, just not being able to navigate the end of football games. That was, to me, was a big one, is that, I get not using the timeout. Get everybody back, you throw a pass for 10, 12 yards, you call timeout, you get your kicker out there, and you tie the game. Like, that should have been what it was. But to take 28 seconds before you snap the ball like that, that's what's on Eberflus. That was the worst part.
Well, but that's it. It's the latest in the long line. And look, folks can go at Swollen Dome. Plenty of threads on this. Timeout's egregious, but it's we don't have anything set, so someone's got to be a leader in the moment, right? Eberflus, obviously, it's the amalgam of a month of just misery in the end of game situations, right? What do I always say? If you're going to fail spectacularly, and he did at every turn.
It was spectacular.
And here was another end of game situation,
yes, it was,
where you take the sack, right? Your offensive line, again, a lot of questions, and this is why the muted tones and everything, and 10 to 12 seconds of silence. We couldn't even play the Ryan Poles clips from the presser today, because there'd be too much dead air. We'd start having all sorts of triggers as he went to answer questions. Like, what went wrong with Shane Waldron? 10 seconds. 10 seconds before he says a word. You had 4 days. Mm-hmm. You guys have been in hiding for 4 bleeping days.
Well, it was the Thanksgiving
and that's what
weekend,
you did.
man.
Yeah, exactly.
It was Thanksgiving.
Hey, man, when we said Eberflus out there on Friday, we didn't know we were going to fire him. My ass. Just a clown show one after another. But to the end of game situation, your quarterback, we know his physical aptitude. As a leader of the team, he can call a timeout. You got Keenan Allen. You got all these guys that pretend to be leaders. And I'll give your new head coach, Mr. Brown, a little bit of love in that he actually raised his hand today and goes, I have a part in that too. It's partially my fault. It's like, which is, if you go back in my timeline, exactly what I was asking. It's like, Eberflus not the only guy that can call a damn timeout. As soon as you realize you weren't getting to the line anywhere close to getting it done and giving yourself enough time to run a real play and everybody's confused, someone could have called the timeout at 32 seconds. 31, right? And Cole Kmet needs to stop, trying to take guys' heads off in pass routes. But that's a whole other thing. 2 of those. But all of that to say, it was the perfect bookend, because guess what? Caleb Williams' pass attempt didn't get to the end zone. Just like the Hail Mary 4 weeks ago with Jaden Daniels didn't get to the end zone. Same thing.
They didn't know.
Perfect.
At that point, like, what did you want at that point? You're just like, I just hope the clock doesn't
just
hit
snap
0,
the ball,
and the ball isn't even snapped yet. That's all you were hoping for. Are we going to get the playoff? Are we going to get the play? That's all you're hoping for.
My mom's
is that going to happen?
Like, all right, it's time to eat. I'm like, you're kidding, right? Like, there's 2 minutes left in this game, and it's the Bears. Are you kidding?
Time to eat.
Like, all of that, and your point about getting the field goal unit out and actually being able to attempt something is apt.
Yeah,
assuming again
you can run and that's when Bill Cowher said that.
But if you take the timeout at 30 seconds, and then in theory you can get up, clock the ball, whatever, assuming you're.
But you got to get 3rd and 26. That's the thing. It's not 3rd and 4. It's 3rd and 26. You're not getting the first down. You need to be able to
Don't get out of bounds.
Yeah. So that's what that's the whole thing that people missed in that whole story was that well, if you take the time out there, you don't know how long that next play is going to run. What if Caleb Williams is rushed out of the pocket, he throws across the field, suddenly there's 15 seconds left by the time the play is over. And
another
what do we do?
turnstile,
What do
he
we
takes
do?
another sack.
And you try to run everybody on the field for a kick? No, the thing was that, and that's the whole thing, is that there's certain times when you can't handle parts of a game, that's going to wind up getting you fired. It happened with Brandon Staley in the 4th and 2s with the Chargers, and it happened with Matt Eberflus. When you keep melting down at the end of games and there's decisions you are making after your team fights for 59 minutes and 27 seconds and you're not ready with something at the end of a game, that's going to get you fired.
It's funny though, Jason, because part of the discussion is also how about we explain the no-show effort on both sides of the ball for the first half, right? You want to talk about lifeless on both ends, right? Oh, your your coordinator's a genius. Oh, he goes from being, goes up the ladder 3 rungs in 18 days.
Yeah.
This is the guy that you finally now seem to have some semblance of an offense you want to run. It's like, oh, you know what? Let's heap the head coaching responsibilities on top of that and promote another guy. This is good. Yeah. Great strategy. Yeah. So you've got that rolling. But Eberflus never took accountability for a damn thing. It was, we had the right call. I wouldn't change a thing. Like, really?
And that was where
fail after fail that way.
What he's got to do is explain. Can't say I wouldn't change a thing because, okay, you really screwed up. You can't screw up at the end and say I wouldn't change a thing. You have to take a little bit of responsibility and say, this is what I wanted to do. We weren't going to just explain it just how I did. It's crazy that from 3,000 miles away that I can say, I go, okay, I understand what's happening here, and you don't see that. And now, look, I can't help that I know more about football apparently than Bill Cowher does. But that you got to take up and understand. Okay, this is my fault. That goes so far when someone says my fault. This is on me. I let the guys down. That goes a long way. It goes a long way to respect in the locker room, respect, even with your friends. If you screw up, if something happens, I'm going to fight with a friend of mine because I was supposed to pick him up at the airport, but then he didn't text me, but I wasn't here, but then I realized it's my fault. I can't say anything. No, you come back and say, hey, listen, my fault. I screwed up. That's my bad. That goes a long way. It goes longer than it should, but it goes a long way. But for Eberflus, in the moment, again, when it comes down to a big moment, not knowing what to say or what to do, that's Eberflus saying, oh, no, I would do the right thing again. No, you wouldn't do the same thing again because obviously you had time to do something different and you didn't do it. That was, I always think that there's times in post-game press conferences that is the final straw to see a coach fired. Like when Robert Saleh said nobody in this locker room is panicking after they lost in London to Vikings. I said, that's it. That's the moment that they decided to fire him. And I think that was probably the moment for Eberflus. When he said, I do the same thing again, okay, no, dude, you're gone. Now that's it. Wherever it was teetering. That's where guys walk away, and the owner and the GM. No, that's it. You're done. I can't believe you said that. If we were having any sort of question, that tilted it forever the other way.
Yeah, I think whatever Jay Glazer reported also, Jalen Johnson lighting into Eberflus after his, hey, good job, good effort, have a good holiday speech. Was really about all you needed out of that, right? He said it was a good 10 to 15 minutes. I heard Johnson on in Chicago earlier, and he goes, guys get hired and fired. That wasn't on me. Like, no. Everybody wants to build a statue to you. Don't try to dismiss it now.